It is definitely, I am almost convinced it's definitely something in the water in Florida. Florida is going to take yet another L. How many times have I said that just this month alone? But a Florida couple was charged. But before I give you guys the charges and talk about the two people that you guys see on my screen, who looks like they're a match made in dark places, let me give you guys a disclaimer before I go in. Let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. All right. Are y'all ready to get disrespectful up in here? I feel froggy. I feel confident. Let me go ahead and put this picture up on the screen and I'm going to blow this up. And I want y'all to take a look at this picture. And I want to say this to my fellas out there. Fellas, just because y'all think that a woman is attractive don't mean that she needs to be making that she needs to be a mother, don't need to be making babies with her, don't need to give her your seeds. And I'm going to tell you something. If you see a woman that looks like this and take a picture just like that with her tongue stuck out, don't make a baby with her. These people that take pictures like this are stupid. Just like this woman. Stupid is as stupid thugs. I want y'all to take a look at these two mugshots as well. Let me back this up. I want y'all to take a good look at that. Look like a match made in hell. That's what I actually wanted to say. But Florida, a couple in Florida was charged after a child was allegedly bathed in piping hot water, which resulted in second and third degree burns on about half of her body. Can we get a hashtag another bathtub story? Even though it wasn't a bathtub, we can call this a bathtub story because he was allegedly trying to bathe this child in the waters of Lake Minnetonka if it was 500 degrees. Just stupid. Flat out stupid. I'm getting this story from ibtimes.com, so thank you for the article. The Jacksonville couple was identified, and let me say this real quick before I get into the story. When I did this story, we actually just did another story about a Jacksonville mother who did something crazy to her child. And I saw this and I saw two light-skinned women and I was like, is this the same story? Are these two different stories? Are you telling me that these are two similar stories in the state of Florida with both of these women being light-skinned, look very similar, and it all happened in the month of December? And I think this was a little girl also. But at first, when I was looking this up, I was like, this is very confusing. But anyway, the Jacksonville couple was identified. Brace yourselves. This woman's name is Nadwania. Nadwania Jones. And I'm sure some of y'all are like, what? How do you spell that? Well, sure, I'll spell it for you. It's N-A apostrophe D-U-A-N-I-A. Nadwania. Hashtag stupid names equals stupid things. 22 years old. And Charles Francis Jr., her boyfriend, who's 20 years old. Again, putting these thugs around your kids. Men shouldn't be fathers under the age of 30 years old. He's 20. He don't know nothing about being a father or a man. But they were identified according to an arrest report obtained by Newsjax 4 on Monday. However, the couple's relationship with the child remained unknown, and I think that that's because the child is that woman's daughter. The incident took place in September when Francis was taking care of the unidentified child while Jones stepped out and went to a store. Now, I do actually have that little girl's picture, But because the little girl survived, which this is a partially positive story, I can't put her face out there. So I did have to omit putting her face out there. So I blocked her face out. Let me see if I can show y'all that. So this little girl right here, beautiful little girl too. But I had to block her face out because she's still alive. So Frances was taking care of the unidentified child while Jones stepped out and went to the store. So she left her boyfriend with her baby. Frances initially told investigators that he was giving a bath to the child because she soiled herself. She had a potty accident. He then placed her in the sink and claimed that hot water came out of the faucet that was meant for cold water. That's already a red flag. And yes, somebody caught that. Why is the boyfriend bathing your daughter, ma'am? They just let anybody get their children naked. Isn't that something? Oh yeah, I'm having sex with you. It's cool. Go ahead and go get my child naked. Makes sense to me. He gave this child a bath because she was soiled, but it's funny how she soiled herself right after she left and went to the store. He then placed her in the sink and claimed that hot water came out of the faucet that was meant for cold water. Oh, I'm sure that was the case. Frances also maintained that he stepped away from the child for a few minutes and returned immediately when he heard her crying. He found the child covered in burns due to hot water. He said he immediately contacted his girlfriend and asked her to hurry home after the child suffered burns all over her body. The child was eventually taken to the burn unit at a hospital in Gainesville for treatment. As the investigation ensued, officers said that the burn patterns that were found across half of the child's body suggested that she was intentionally placed in the boiling hot water and kept there for a long time. That's according to investigators. Investigators also tested the hot water from the faucet and found that the water was 140 degrees in temperature. In addition to this, investigators found the child did not receive timely medical attention. They learned that Jones contacted a number of people over the phone and even visited someone at their house after the child suffered the burns, according to an outlet. The child was taken to the hospital only after someone advised Jones to call 911. Which is why neither one of these dummies shouldn't be parents. I'd say, I don't know, man. I'd say give them both, 5 years in prison? They both need prison time. Both of them do. Other details regarding the incident, including the child's current health condition, were not provided to authorities. Officers arrested Jones and Frances on the basis of the evidence, suggesting the child was intentionally placed in scalding water, which caused severe burns to her body. The duo was charged with aggravated child abuse and neglect, officials said. They were released from jail after posting bonds and will appear in court in January. But guess what they didn't say? How much were the bonds? What were the bonds? Another $5,000? We don't know. They didn't say. Apparently it doesn't matter. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And by the way, this would have caused the death of this child. I don't believe, especially the boyfriend, that's kind of a given. But the mother doesn't need to ever be around this child ever again. And I'm not so sure that she ever needs to reproduce again. Ever again. Because you can't be this level of dumb.
She dropped the baby 4 times, then
And guess what? That's not our video. Let me fix it real quick. So there was only one news video, but here we go.
A Jacksonville couple is facing charges after police say a child ended up in the burn unit. 22-year-old Nadwania Jones and 20-year-old Charles Francis. They are both charged with aggravated child abuse and neglect. Police said a child received second and third degree burns on about half her body after being bathed in scalding water. News for Jackson reporter Renee Beninati is joining us live outside UF Health, where first responders took that child. Renee.
I wonder what the hell her parents were thinking when they named her Nadwania. What kind of stupid ass name is that?
Kent, the girl's burns were so bad, she was immediately rushed from here to the burn unit all the way in Jacksonville. The boyfriend told authorities that this was an accident, but doctors say that the girl's burns show that most likely she was held down in that hot water. Nadwania Jones and Charles Francis Jr. are now facing aggravated child abuse and neglect charges. This report explains why. It stems from an incident in September. Jones says she went to the store, leaving behind the child with Francis at their home on the west side. The report does not list the girl's age or her relation to the couple. Jones told police he asked her to hurry home because the girl had burns all over her body. He said the child soiled herself, so he gave her a bath in the sink. According to the report, Francis claimed hot water was coming out of the cold side of the faucet. Francis told investigators he stepped away from the baby for a few minutes and did not know until he heard crying. Doctors say the burn patterns on the child tell a different story. They reported she most likely was placed in the scalding water and held there. Investigators also tested the water from the hot side and found the temperature was around 140 degrees. Police noted that treatment was delayed because Jones called several people and went to one's home until they advised her to call 911. The report states Jones also tested positive for THC, alcohol, amphetamine, and methamphetamine. Both were being held on pretty hefty bonds. His was around $400,000. Both have since bailed out, and they are both expected to be back in court next month. The report states Jones also tested positive for THC, alcohol, amphetamine, and methamphetamine.
So mom had alcohol in her system, weed in her system, amphetamine, and meth. She's a meth head. And we're supposed to believe her story? We're going to believe that she went to the store having all of this stuff in her system? Really? I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that.
Both were being held on pretty hefty bonds. His was around $400,000.
And I want y'all to notice how they said his bond was $400,000. Notice what they didn't say. How much was her bond? Why couldn't you just say that? Hefty bonds, but you didn't say what her bond was. Because her bond was different than his, probably significantly less. But we don't know the number. Maybe we'll put that out there. Maybe we'll research it and find out. It don't even really matter to me. Let me finish this video out.
Both have since bailed out, and they are both expected to be back in court next month.
So they both were bailed out. Wow. He bailed out on $400,000. That means what, $40,000?
Reporting live in downtown Jacksonville.
My goodness. She never needs to be a parent again. She never needs to see this child again. She's just a horrible individual and just needs some direction and guidance in life. But this is one of those stories where we go hashtag TTO, hashtag TTT. How did he bail out on $400,000 is beyond me. Or who did it for him? That's beyond me. I don't know. But when you're thugging, they'll make a way. But whenever you're doing the right thing, you know, it's funny how when you're doing the right thing, won't nobody support that, right? When you're trying to go off to college and get you a business degree, won't nobody put no money on that. When you put up a GoFundMe to pay for your student loans, nobody will pay for that. You know what I'm saying? You get behind on a mortgage, you put up a GoFundMe, nobody will fund that. You know, when you're trying to take your children and take them on trips and go places, nobody will GoFundMe that. Nobody will GoFundMe better books for the schools. Nobody will GoFundMe to get these children Chromebooks which are cheaper than ever. Children need shoes. Nobody will GoFundMe for that. But they will fund this broad and this thug to get out of jail who somehow almost boiled a baby alive. And this woman had all kinds of drugs in her system. But we'll fund that though. She needs to be out of jail though. Why? Why does he need to be out of jail? For what? That's their legal right. If they get the bail, then by all means. I'm just saying that's where we are in society. We continue to keep flat out forgetting about children. We don't support the good things, but we'll support some bull crap like this. I'm sorry, the charges alone should let you know that this is not the type of thing that we should be putting money, funds, houses, or anything else towards somebody's bail for something this damn stupid. I don't care how much you love your products of incest. I don't know what you call it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section, and I guess we'll find out how much time they get in prison. We might do an update on this story at a later point. But thank you. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.